Hello, hello! And I meant to put this up first, sorry. Creative Smartphone Photography Show with me, Sab in Paris. Creative Smartphone Photography Show with me, Sab in Paris. You got a smartphone? You got Paris? Well, you can join in. You don't have to be in Paris or take photographs of Paris or even like Paris to like the show. You just need to like photography. You need to like smartphones, I guess. But to be honest, the smartphone is kind of transparent. True photography is us managing to get what we have inside us into, get this, into the heads of somebody else. So this is kind of it's a transparent tool, if you like, because when you look at a photograph, think about it. Is the first thing that you do when you look at a photograph wonder what camera it was taken on? I don't think so. You know, you look at, oh look, there's a bird, and oh, I love those colours. But you don't say, I bet he didn't use a Nikon. I bet it's a Canon, or I bet it was an iPhone. I bet it was a Samsung. We don't. So I call this the Smartphone Photography Show because lots of people have got these things, and they're amazing cameras these days, amazing. And I think there's so much joy to be had from sharing images. I don't say taking photographs. I say sharing images. And we've got this in our pocket. Isn't it great that we can all take amazing photographs? Yeah, but photography has actually got very little. True photography, what I think of as photography, has got very little to do with the camera. It's more about transmitting emotions between human beings. Yeah, that's right. Hello, who's here? Who's here? Tell me if you're here. Say hello. Don't leave me on my own. I'm chugging along with this mug today. It's my Miro mug, Miro. You know, the Spanish artist from Barcelona, Catalunya. I think it's not him that did this, but it's kind of in his style, don't you think? Someone said hello. How polite. How polite of you. Vespina says hello. That is so funny. That is so funny. You won't you won't believe what I was thinking before I started the show. I actually went through a little dialogue in my head saying to people, right, I'm gonna go on strike. I'm sitting here on my own. I'm not seeing anyone. I'm gonna wear the same damn clothes. I'm not gonna wash. I'm not gonna change, and I'll see how long I can manage it before they start falling off me. You know, it's a very female thing to notice what people are wearing. Very sort of, you know. So no, I've actually got 7 of these, and I changed them, one for each day of the week. Hello, Alice. How are you today? Hope you're well. Hello, Chris. Chris, the star who actually instigated this. The "Hi everyone, contribute your weekly theme ideas here" thread. So well done, Chris. You're a star, and we've got loads of cool ideas for this week. None have been chosen, so we can look at some of those in a second. So presuming you don't want more sweater chat or t-shirt chat or shirt chat, I'll get on with the show. Hello, Thomas. How are you doing? Yeah, saying hello. Nice sweater. Well, I'm not sure if Despina agrees with you. You know, her comment was same sweater as last time and the time before and probably the time before. So, you know, she's got some issue there. I don't know exactly what her problem is, but it's not my problem, right? It's hers. Well, she didn't say there's a problem. She just said same sweater. Did she put a question mark? Same sweater again, question mark. So this is indicating that there's possibly a raised, you know, like a, hang on, can I do it? A raised eyebrow, you know, same sweater again, really? So you know, this has been noted, and we'll see where we're going to go with this. Susan says hi. Teresa says hello, and Chris is an instigator in so many ways, says Alice. All right, well, let's have a look at what she's instigated, shall we? So Chris instigated a theme which I should have probably instigated myself about, approximately a year and a half ago. Put in your weekly theme ideas. Let's have a look at some of them. I'm going to make this bigger. And then I'm going to show you some of my week's photographs. I'll look at all the crazy shoe photographs that we got, and that'll be it. We'll choose a new theme. I'll choose the photos that I'm going to put up as the highlighted ones from the shoe theme. And that's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to do this. What am I trying to do? Have I lost the shoe theme thing? That's weird. Once more, stunning radio I'm offering you here. What on earth is going on here? Announcements. So, anyway, I've got there. So here we go. No. Something has gone horribly wrong. I've lost, am I even in the right group? Anyway, so this is going horribly wrong. So I'm looking for Chris's thing. Think of some themes that you can add to this discussion, can you? See what you could come up with. Themes for including the coming week. God, it was a big orange one and everything. Where's it gone? I'm sure it was an announcement. Okay, so let's say it wasn't an announcement. I'm going to go back home. Take me home, please. To discussion, and we'll find it. Rusty was a really cool one. I think Rusty is fantastic. How difficult was it to find that? My God. Something's going very strange here. So, we've got a lot of ideas for themes. Vote. What do you think the theme for next week should be? Rusty things. Alice said me. And Chris said, no, you're so salt free, I don't think you can rust. Didn't know that salt stopped rust. Anyway. A hopeful topic or water reflection from Yuruska. Numbers. Numbers is a good theme. Signs. Walls, buildings, doors, etc. Yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? Characterful numbers, though. Characterful numbers taken in an artistic way, not just numbers. It's a bit like the shoes theme. Shoes is all very well, but are we going to add anything artistic to it? Or are we just going to take pictures of shoes? Well, we'll see what happened in a minute. I'm actually collecting interesting Paris house numbers from number 1 to number 81, so I can make a grid of 9 times 9. What else? Childhood slides or playground rides. That is cool, yeah. We were talking about this in the masterclass, actually, taking pictures of kids. I know that's not what you're saying, but often when there's slides, there's kids as well, which is interesting. What else? Alphabet photos, yeah, alphabet photos. Not quite sure how that would work, actually. Cutlery could be really interesting, especially if we do something interesting with it. Funky shadows or something. Hat selfies. I don't even if I've even got a hat. I've got a beret somewhere, a blue beret, for some event where I had to wear one. Like the Queen Mum. Hat selfies like the Queen Mum. Inside eyeball benders. What? Things taken up so close you're not sure what it is, but we have to guess. That would be a fantastic theme. Number photos. Pets. Yeah. What if you haven't got one though? Would soft toys do? Glassware. Glassware would be amazing. Playing with the light coming through it and stuff. Machinery. Yeah. View from a window. These are all great. Holidays. Food. Yeah, maybe you need to be a bit more precise than that to make it, a solid theme so that it all hangs together. And it isn't just, here's what I eat for lunch. Outside house building, iron ornaments. Yeah, I like this idea. Those little details you find on houses could be doorknobs or knockers or handles, keyholes, rusty keyholes can be good. Angela says windows, curves. Oh, I do like a good curve, me. quite a fan of curves. That's an understatement. Food and fruit. Stairs is good. Did we have stairs once? I thought we had stairs once, but you know, doesn't matter. We can come back to it. Sunrises, sunsets from Sherry. Do I know Sherry? Hello, Sherry. If you get up early. Nighttime cityscapes. Snow when it comes. Who was it? I think it was Karen in Canada was showing us pictures of a snow flurry that she'd had. Sherry says, I am a boring photographer. Hang on. So Chris is saying, Sherry Allen White, hey, we'd love some submissions from your part of the country. What is that part of the country, Sherry? I take my pictures straight on, maybe colour corrected them, but nothing as interesting as you do. Well, haha, maybe this is the place where that's all going to change. I often try to click on the screen that isn't clickable. Feel free to join in the fun. Yeah, absolutely. Great initiative, Chris. Da-dum, da-dum. That was me. And trees. Okay, so let's move on to the photographs. Shall I launch into mine? Show you a couple of mine? Or look at your... I'll show you a couple of mine. The last one, which I haven't talked about on this show, theoretically, is this one. And then the 6 more from the last week. So this one, I've talked about this before on other shows, you know, probably the Sunday evening show, the writing show, but if I'm sticking to this scheme where I talk about the last 7, theoretically I shouldn't have talked about this one last week. And it's a bunch of birds in a row. Now somewhere I did say this, but I'll say it on the photography show as well. I was waiting for this bird here on the bottom left to, in fact I moved towards it slightly, gently, but enough to hopefully scare it to, you know, at some point I'm going to get close enough, it's going to fly off before the others, you know, theoretically. But of course if one flies, they probably all will. And I wanted it to fly in a graceful curve, arcing towards this major arch and just have its wings open in this piece of water here. That was my idea. Stunning shot, amazing. God, you've done it again, Sab. In fact, as I moved towards it, it just sort of took a step forward and plopped down towards the river. Spectacularly out of sight in about half a second. So my amazing photograph didn't materialise. So I went for the birds not flying anywhere, and I kind of like it. There was a huge amount of these cobbles. You see these cobbles hinted at in the bottom right? In fact, about another third of the photograph was the cobbles, and that wasn't doing it for me. There was too many cobbles and empty foreground. So I did this one, and I've got this. You've got this nice kind of. If you look, there's an angle. There's the angle of the wall, nicely chopping off that bottom right, and then the wall zooms off at another angle towards the bridge. So I'm quite pleased with that. Nice and close to the nearest birds. The birds sort of lead you into the photograph along the wall, and the rest of the wall leads you to the bridge, and the bridge kind of, I don't know, does it do anything? Do the 2 arches kind of echo the 2 birds below it? I've just thought of that, by the way, just making it up, but why not? Some nice typical Paris buildings there. A tree and a couple of lamps, Alice, on the bridge, and there is a crane. Did you spot the crane? I don't really mind the crane because, well, I could say it's filling in the top left, but I wouldn't actually have, you know, included it as a romantic element of Paris. But what I can tell you is that it's a crane which is repairing Notre Dame after the roof burnt down. So there's a little bit of, you know, Notre Dame is just off to the left. All right, so that's that. And I'll show you a couple more photographs and then we will look at your photographs. These are the 6 that I've done since that last one you just saw. This one was me at a local train station, my son's train station actually. And I saw, feel free, by the way, to comment on any of these, any you particularly like. If you have questions about them, ask me, and that'll make it a bit more interactive. This is a case of me just coming out, spotting something, thinking to myself, oh, that's kind of funny, these funny little guys with their, the arms up and stuff, and then walking on. And then I thought, hang on. Could that be a good photograph? There's rust, there's these two little characters, they're in a state of disintegration, which makes photographs more interesting. And, well, what do you know? I managed to get a train in there as well. And I love these, there's this sort of double right angle. You see, there's the first right angle, which actually is like in the corner of the photograph. And then there's a second one, a little bit in on the diagonal, which is full of rust and stuff, which is really cool. So there's that repetition of the kind of square, and then there's these deliciously disintegrating little guys. And for my text, I had the idea of imagining that there are models, artists' models, who are paid to pose in the position needed for rail and road signs, which need these little guys. And that there's an artist that paints them. And I went off on a kind of weird discussion about that. And the train, I did wait for the train, tried to get it in the bottom right to just fill in and give that sense of place. It's about trains. There's the train lines, but isn't it nicely completed by having the train zooming past, which hints at the danger, doesn't it? And I went for this kind of blown out colours look, sort of washed out plus then bring the colours back. It really gives a really nice, moving away from grim reality, as I always say, because it didn't look like that in real life. Right, a couple more, and then I will move on to yours. This one is, can you see this little row of faces here? Lots and lots of little faces. There's actually 381 of these little faces. They're called mascarons. I don't know if it's a French or English word, but in French it would be mascaron, and in English it would be mascarons. I don't know if it comes from masks, probably. And they're the spirits of the sort of either gods or demigods or nymphs, or, well, they're not nymphs because they're grim-looking guys. Rather lusty guys, actually. Sort of the virility of nature, as it were, if you see what I mean. And they are decorating the Pont Neuf, which means the new bridge, which is obviously the oldest standing bridge in Paris, with a glorious statue of the lusty king, actually, Henry IV, who was known for being a bit of a ladies' man. And that's on the island. We're looking at an island there, not actually the bridge. And there's a lamp. Alice, lamp. Chris probably does squirrels, Alice does lamps. And what did I do with it? Well, I did what you can see with it. Played around with it a little bit to make it a little less grim and a bit more funky. And this one, hang on, Chris is saying, Sab, can you pin the weekly suggestion discussion to... It should be an option under the 3 dots. Yeah, absolutely. I thought I had, to be honest. Had I not? Is this another failing on my part? Marker's announcement is not even an announcement. So it certainly isn't pinned to the top if it's not an announcement. I'll do that later because it'll take a little bit of... I can't do it immediately now. So the last one I'll show you before we go into yours is a rather interesting one. And it's, I was just walking along the banks of the River Seine, the way you do, and I came across this. And it was pretty impressive. Just this mass of books, piles of books. I couldn't see anyone. There didn't seem to be anyone there selling them. You wouldn't just dump a load of books like that under the bridge. And I mean, it's illegal to set up and sell stuff on the banks of the river. It's taking about the widest bit. It's taking up about half of the walkway, so it's theoretically a health hazard. People might fall in the river if they're like photographers stepping back to get a better view for their photograph. So anyway, I took this shot. Now this is a good case of up close and personal. Get really in close to the nearest item, like the start of the line of books, and it's a much more impressive photograph. And also get down a bit lower as well. I couldn't get down too low because that messed up the rest of the composition, but I got down a little bit. But the main thing that I did here to try and make this more impressive was to get in close. You might not realize exactly how close I am, but I'm pretty close. Otherwise, it tends to be a kind of, random snapshot, and getting in close is one way of making it clear what the subject is. I couldn't get in I could have got in even closer, but that would have lost what I wanted here. I wanted these books going off into the distance, following this diagonal here, leading up to the lovely gentle arch of the bridge there. And in the background, you've got 3 more arches of another bridge. Pretty washed out, but that's what happened. And probably not a bad thing, so it doesn't detract from the books themselves. So some nice curves there, folks. Nice curves on the arch there and on the other arches there. And it was definitely cropped, so I had much more of this picture in than you see here. And so I had some definite decisions to make as I cropped, how to crop, and that's what I finished up with. A good case for walking around a lot. There's so many interesting things you see when you're walking. 2 things: walk around a lot, and when you are walking around, don't ignore anything. Take a shot of everything you think might be interesting. Also, take a shot a bit further back than you think, because you never know afterwards what the best crop is going to be. You can imagine, but you can never know for sure. So if you're getting in close and stuff, do take one shot which is way back, or at least halfway back, just in case. If you're getting in close, you might miss actually a much better composition. And if you haven't taken all of the shot that you might want when you're there, you can't get it back. You can take the whole shot and crop in, but you can't crop out. That's a lot more difficult. Vespina says, I like this photo of the books. Yeah, the books are such a wonderful subject, isn't it? The sort of the paving stones, I'm noticing the paving stones, higgledy-piggledy, not as higgledy-piggledy as the books, but these sort of slabs, rectangular slabs, do kind of echo the books. They're in standard grey, and the books are in standard rainbow colours, which is pretty cool. All right, so I'll look at these 3 later. Now let's have a look at your stuff, our stuff. See if I can not make less of a mess this time. So the weekly theme, shoes. That's pretty vague, it's pretty open. What did you do with shoes? So Jen started immediately, good for Jen. Boots rather, big enough to wade in. Lake Superior and admire the stones. So Jen is a stone mistress. Maestro? I don't know. Maestro, what's the female of maestro? And she does things with stone. She makes amazing jewellery. She is in cahoots with someone who does these twisted metal copper things. They look absolutely gorgeous. It looks like a teardrop like this. You put it around your neck, and in the middle she puts a stone which is held there by twisted copper wire. It's absolutely beautiful creations. So I guess she goes foraging for stones to put in these things. I even understood that she's got a machine that you churn stones around in and it makes them pretty. Vespina says, nice tip. I usually take the picture and check it on my phone. If I like it, I keep it. If I don't, I take another one. But I don't take more than I want to. I'll try zooming out next time. Well, funnily enough, Jen, I think, is a one-shot wonder. She takes one shot and considers, well, that'll do. Let's see what else there is. I'm more of a 1 million shot wonder. I take a lot of shots of something if I think it's really cool. And then part of my creative process is playing around with them on the train home and seeing which ones I get rid of and narrowing it down to the one I publish. The one, count it, 1. Not 5, not 10, not 2. 1 shot of the subject, like the books, makes it onto the internet, as far as I'm concerned. Occasionally, I say that for my next chapter, which is 9 shots. I think I'm going to have 3 shots, which include the black and white columns that you find at the Palais Royal. So there's going to be a kind of a theme there, but they're different shots. It's not more or less the same shot. So that's cool. It's beautifully colourful photograph, and it's nicely composed as well, with the legs coming in from the bottom left, and the tool. Careful where you put those prongs, said I. I'm such a caring person, worried about her little tootsies. So that's definitely a contender, actually, isn't it? Straight away into contenders. This was me. I had a whole load more of shoes actually, but I probably wisely didn't post them. So there's a couple of crazy shoes that I took as I was sitting opposite this person. Is that a sweetie wrapper? That's a very English expression. You Americans probably don't know what they mean. Sweets are candies, and there's a whole bunch of them. So, shoes. Gotta love the name, and the name is Sloggers. Sloggers, a good name for shoes. So there's filling the frame with a whole bunch of shoes there from Chris. Angela says, before every rehearsal of the theatrical plays, our group always do exercises without shoes, warm-up exercises. You've used a lovely effect there. Just, they're all together, they're not scattered, they're quite well arranged, except for these two green ones here. And you have used a beautiful effect there to make them otherworldly. That's a very beautiful shot. Because the thing, if you're taking shoes, you could take a picture of shoes, but what is the point of taking the picture? That's a kind of brutal way of saying, what have you done to add some sort of artistry to it? And because that's part of it. You could take pictures of shoes, but what kind of message are you trying to send? You don't have to, but otherwise, you could go to a shoe shop, take a picture of the window, and here's my shoe shot. So here we go, Angela again. Watching a performance of the oldest preserved cultural centre of Thessaloniki. Ben Susanhan. I secretly photographed the legs of the actors that caught my eye on this old, magnificent floor. Yeah, very evocative. You've got some reflections there, including a reflection of this lady. I assume it's a lady. You never know with theatre, do you? Interestingly reflected in the shiny floor there. More comments. Did I get the three that were? It said there were three more. Did I get those? Yeah, I got the three. And we've got 12 more. Were you inspired by this theme or not? Let me know. What do you think? How could you be creative with shoes? I have this idea of a random shoe just sort of sitting in the middle of nowhere. And I remember this shot. I don't know if I'll be able to find it without boring you. And it was an electricity junction box in the middle of Paris, beautifully coloured, because it had been, there's a Paris street artist that paints them. And on top of it was a shoe. And you just think, why? Whose? What happened to the other one? All these sort of strange ideas go through your head. I might try and find it later. Susan says, we sat on the ground listening to music and watching the feet go by. Watching the feet go by. It's a funny expression. Yeah, look at those. Those shoes, should I be blowing them up more than I am? Those shoes have got a lot of character, haven't they? Not to mention the socks. Oh. Wow. Difficult to know what to say about this. Interesting boot. Where's the other foot? It's like there's a leg missing or something there. That's very strange. I thought it was maybe a Highland gathering, kilts and knee-high stockings that go with kilts, but maybe not. It's a mystery. Maybe the other leg is sort of hanging off the end of the photograph. Very colourful. Okay. Those are spectacular shoes, aren't they? A spectacular outfit. I'm quite interested to see it from the other side, but that's not an option here. Amazing shoes, yeah. I don't know what sort of fashion this goes with. You see them in Paris sometimes. I honestly don't know. It's like a sort of modern day goth type of thing. And normally goes with loads of black and leather and sometimes chains and stuff. Wild. 3 more replies. Who's that from? That's from Susan. Amazing pics. Da-da-da, like the colours. Okay, good stuff. Now this is an intriguing one. I didn't get it at first, but Yoruska said flying shoe, and I didn't get it. I think maybe I didn't have time to... I was looking at this foot, trying to work out what was going on. And then I see that this shoe is actually not at all lying on the ground. And in fact, the whole photograph looks kind of weird, to be honest. I don't know if it's the processing or if something strange is going on. Did the shoe get thrown into the photograph to see if it could be captured, or is the shoe flying towards us? Very, very strange. Looks like a kid on a playground thing. It almost looks like it's been stuck on afterwards, but I don't think it has. This is so cute. I guess most kids have done this. They've put their feet in their parents' shoes, and the parents have taken photographs, of course. There it is, very cute. Very sweet. Yeah, that's the sort of thing, you see. Add something to it. You can have pictures of just shoes or just any random object, but where's the story? That's what I look for. Where's the story? Or how can we invent a story? My shoe in my world. Yeah, that's very sweet. Nice processing. Are those little trucks or cars, toy cars, to sort of reinforce the theme of childhood. This it looks like scruffy shorts, and yeah, it's a sweet photograph. Lets us imagine things, doesn't it? Imagine who that little kid is, what they're up to. Who was that? Yoruska. My nephew in his mini world. Angela. Doing what Angela does. My old jazz shoe. I used to... my old jazz shoe I use for rehearsals, trying to prove to me that it's still alive. Yeah, it's very cute. Yeah, Yoruska said something like a tongue, and yeah, it does look like a tongue, but then again it looks like a nose as well, with a big sort of loose mouth there. It's pretty phenomenal as a shot. And is there a touch of the Dali's there? Bit of Dali on the moustache. Just seen that. Very nice. Great. And she's done the black and white look. Actually, it's kind of subtle. It's not quite black and white, is it? There's a tiny touch of warmth to it, which gives it a really, really nice look. And nothing but the shoe, you notice. The shoe and the thing. Nothing's distracting or detracting. Still alive, sticking out his tongue, says Yaru. Yaru. And from Jean, my shoe, her paws. Her mouth. So this was a tackle, a battle for the frisbee by the looks of it. She won, I lost. She's obviously the subject of the photo, but I did get a shoe in there. Yes, you did. Lovely moment. And Despina hitting us with her red boots. Not literally, I hope. What have we got here? So you're just saying hello. Hello. We're just talking about your shots. Michigan Women's Festival. Women's Festival. I'll take you at face value on that spelling. Women's Festival. Festival. I don't. There must be a way of saying that. You know that makes it make sense. I'm not from Michigan, so I wouldn't know. I was inspired by this task, but haven't got my ideas shot. But I will do it later and post it. Yeah, do, Thomas. This isn't Despina. This is Thomas. Why do I think this? Wait a minute. I'm confused. I'm linking the comments from people to the photograph. Okay, you were inspired, but you haven't got an idea yet. Okay, don't worry. Susan saying, my shoes were taken at the Michigan Women's Music Festival. All kinds of characters displaying personalities in their costumes. Fantastic. And Despina saying, Dorothy saying hello. Hello, Dorothy. We're looking at shoes, Dorothy, and we're looking at Despina's red boots. And later on, you'll see that the answer to when are Despina's red boots not red boots I like it. You know, it's really up close, and there is character to those boots. Also, there's a lovely softness to that red. It's absolutely lovely. I want to touch it, and I want to feel it, and I want to smell it. That sounds a bit weird, but you know, it seems like soft suede or something. Lovely tones in that, yeah. Lovely tones, lovely tones. My sneakers. So Vespina went on a shoe fest. That's actually a beautifully striking shot. I mean, if people can do still lifes of bloody boring fruit, why not shoes? Turned black and white, gets rid of all colour from interference. It's just light and dark. And in this case, it's white and black. And then this gorgeous light coming in from behind, which highlights these little rim of colour of light on the edge there. Highlights the texture, the weave there. Ah, it's great. I like it. Just playing with light and darkness. So when are Despina's red boots not Despina's red boots? When they're black and white boots. Play around, see what happens. Special effects. Daphne is a star. Apparently Daphne, I hope she's not watching. I shouldn't have corrected her spelling of Eiffel, is basically what it comes down to. This was a bad move on my part. I didn't realise. I thought I was being helpful and not at all, doing anything other than helping her to spell Eiffel correctly. Didn't go down well. Don't think she was interested in anything I did for the next 6 months. But, you know, this is one of the sort of residual dangers of being an English teacher for many years. But it's Eiffel, you know. Eiffel is spelt a certain way. You know, it's not personal. Anyway, blue. I will look at the picture of her shoes. Nonetheless, I don't hold grudges. Reverse grudges. So there you go. Again, lovely light coming in. Very few colours. You know, it's just blue. Even the colour behind is muted, doesn't detract, and it's literally it's a study of shapes, colour, and composition. You know, you can put the shoes together, then you can decide how to frame them as you're moving the camera. All sorts of things you can do with that. I'm gonna get feedback now, probably from Despina, about how the Daphne Eiffel spelling correction debacle is progressing. Will she ever speak to me again? Have British people gone down in her estimation forever? Can the situation be redeemed? Tune in next week for the next exciting episode, instalment in Sab's spelling gaffes, spelling correction gaffes. It looks like the back has been turned black and white and just these have been coloured, but I don't think it's the case. You can see the carpet is coloured, the shoes behind are obviously just very dark, and wham, in your face, green and red. Wow, that's pretty amazing, yeah. You could maybe even have focused, you could have got even closer on just one, you know, just like had a pattern of the laces going into the red or something. Pretty cool. And, well, maybe this is my chance to redeem myself. Hang on, what have we got here? Despina says, the shoes inspired her, she has forgiven you. Forgiving me for trying to help her spell Eiffel. I mean, Eiffel and me, Lady Eiffel and I, it's you know, it's like they say about football fans. They say, you know, football isn't about life. It's much more important than that. So, you know, I didn't call my lifelong mega photo series lasting 18 years When Lady Eiffel Smiles for nothing. And you know, so it's a beautiful gesture that I made in gently wanting to help her to spell Eiffel correctly. And apparently she has forgiven me, which is good. And that's good because I wanted to say that this, I'm afraid, is probably the best of all the shoe shots from the Despina household. Oh, what am I doing? It does actually resemble a little bit the one that I did on the metro, kind of, with lots of different shoes all together. It's fun, isn't it? Hang on, I'm trying to blow it up here. And it's around the world. Oh my God, there's symbolism there. People can wear different shoes, but we're still all stuck to the same ball spinning around in space. So we'd better get used to it and maybe even, like each other, even though they don't have the same colour or style of shoes or spell famous French monuments in exactly the same way. We can still be friends. I think that's beautiful. It's a beautiful metaphorical, maybe even if you didn't, well, I think she did want it to be this sort of message, global message, which I think is great, wonderful. Well done, Daphne. You're a star. And this is a message from her godmother, I think, Angela, saying, "Oh, so beautiful from my lovely girl. A big kiss from Glee, please." I don't know quite what that means. I miss probably a pet name. I miss her so much. I missed our Mondays. They must get together on a Monday. Isn't that sweet? So there you go. So which are your favourites, folks? And what's our theme going to be for next week? So let's just go through them and tell me what your favourites are. Give your fellow photo contributors some love. Okay, so there's Daphne's World View, colour ones, the blue ones, the X-red ones, the black and white study, the red ones. Dog and shoe fight over frisbee. Dali goes retro. The world of this little kid playing around in mum and dad's shoes, wonderful. The flying shoe. Which is your favourite? I want you to type it in now. Don't be shy. Give these people some love. They deserve it. Wild costumes at a musical festival from Michigan. The ballet shot, no, not ballet, theatre shot performance. Isn't it nice if you just focus on something? You know what you can do? You can go out into the street, a busy street, and you can sit on a bench and you can pretend you're playing with your camera. You've got it down about your knee level. And you take shots of people's feet going by, which is fun. If you manage to get a way of making them blurred, that can be cool. And if there's something interesting behind, which doesn't detract too much, that can be cool. Get down to shoe level or calf level or knee level and take those feet buzzing by, people living their lives. You've got Angela's mixture of shoes waiting to be reclaimed. Maybe they're having a little chat on their own. They're having their own coffee time. What would they share? Cheese or something? And then there's Chris's picture of a bunch of shoes with a cool name. What was it? Sluggers. And then there's mine, which I won't put in the vote. And there's Jen's of those. Right, let's see. Who do you like? The theatre shot, says Chris. You like the theatre shot? Okay. Despina votes Yoruska's mum's shoes. That's the feet in the adult shoes. Susan's shoes and socks. And Angela's Dali retro. Yeah. I think you're trying not to leave anyone out, aren't you? So 3 people have been honoured there. Angela was Glee. How do you say that? Was Glee? Angela, Glee. Okay, so when Daphne was 2 years old, she couldn't pronounce her full name. Angela, Glee. That's nice. That's sweet. Okay, who else? Who else do you like? Tell me, which are your favourite shoe shots? Quick, come on. No time to lose. Susan's crazy shoes. Right. Chris likes Jen's shot of the thigh-length waders in Lake Michigan. Is it? No, Lake Superior. I don't know what I'm talking about. And the stones. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Okay. All right. Anyone else going to offer their favourites? I don't know why you shouldn't. We're in this together. Okay, so I might choose that one. Oh, there's too many, aren't there? There's too many cool ones to choose. Well, I like that one. I like them all, okay? Don't get me wrong. But not everyone can win. Yep, yep, yep. That's wild. I think I'm more attracted to the bit above the thighs than below, but anyway, never mind. Yeah, that is so sweet, isn't it? That reminds me of childhood. I've got a shot of me as a kid in my dad's shoes. I think I'm gonna choose that one just for sort of nostalgia's sake. You know, it's actually bringing almost in danger of bringing a lump to my throat as I speak. That is just, it's cool. It's cool. It's almost too cool. And I do like that red. I like this black and white one actually. And that. Okay, well, you know, let's make Daphne a winner today. And for my top three, I won't include Mum now that I've done Daphne. For my top three, I'm going to go to, for this one, Mum and Dad's shoes. And you know, just as a point of interest, photographers, the subject can be amazing, but as photographers, it's our job to do something with an amazing subject. Because if you it's like taking a picture of graffiti. If you take a straight-on picture of graffiti, then people will say, "Oh, what amazing graffiti!" They won't say, "What an amazing photograph." So in the Creative Smartphone Photography group I'm reading, it says creative. What have you added to the shot to make it yours? You see what I'm saying? So I will tend to choose people who have added something artistic in their taking of the shot, in their viewing of it or whatever. I mean, in these ones they are taken from low down, which is cool, because if you'd just taken the person, you wouldn't have known it was about the shoes. I do like that one as well. All right, so I'm going to choose this one because she contributed first as well. Good for her. Jen doesn't often contribute, so these days very busy fishing and stuff and selling jewelry probably. So Jen, and maybe could it be that this one, and what did I say? And this one. And as other special mentions will probably be for me, I do like that black and white one. It's really good. The black and white, that's changed everything. I do like the Dali thing, as well as some others, and I do like these boots. They're amazing, and those shoes. All right, so I mean that was almost choosing most of them, to be honest, but not all of them. So there you are. Right, what are we going to choose for next time? Could you vote on that, please? Just give me one that screams at you. The first three people to scream the same thing, roughly, I'll choose. Select the one with most comments. Says Chris. There's not a democracy here. Angela's dancing shoe and the wild shoes, says Alice. First one of Susan's are my favourite. Although, yeah, they're amazing. I like coloured shoes from Susan, says Yuska. And Daphne's global shoes are amazing too, but I'm her mum. Can I vote for them? Of course you can. I'm her mum. Select the one with the most comments. All right, so I've chosen mine, the ones I like. In particular, I particularly love this week. Alice is going for Rusty. Does anyone else want to go for Rusty? I'm tempted by Rusty. I mean, rust, it doesn't depend on seasons, does it? But it does mean that you're going to have to go out and look for rust. If you're okay with that, I'm happy with rust. Rusty things. Rusty for next week. Oh, Rusty it is then. So I like Rusty. Right, we'll go for Rusty. So just to finish off, if you want to stick with me a tiny little bit longer, I'll show you my last three. And you'll find one of them a little curious, what I'm going to say about it. So this is from the same famous walk that I went on just before my my latest lockdown, to get a bunch of shots. If you've got a river, walk along by the river. There's always interesting stuff by the river. You know, you've got the land, you've got the water, you've got the path along by the side, you've got boats sometimes, you've got interesting signs, you've got people doing rivery things, you've got normally nature, sometimes animals, birds on the lake, on the river. Rivers are great. I admit I'm slightly spoilt being Paris, because the Seine is a pretty damn cool river, but it's still revealing its secrets to me year after year, and now I can say decade after decade, it's still revealing its secrets, and it will be until I fall off the planet, or fall into it, more accurately, which echoes something from the text that I wrote to go with this photograph, actually. It's an anchor. I think it's an anchor because it's right next to the kind of riverside headquarters, which is a boat actually, a barge of the sapeurs-pompiers. And you know, in England, in Britain, when you grow up, you learn that there's 3 emergency services: the police, fire and ambulance. In Britain, that's Britain, as I said. In France, they don't have that distinction. Les sapeurs-pompiers is basically firemen and first aid. They kind of do both under the same roof. I don't think if you're ill, you get, you know, sent off, rushed to the hospital in a fire engine with the sirens blazing. I think they've got ambulances as well, but they don't have this distinction that I had as a kid: police, fire or ambulance. So their headquarters there, and they've got these, you know, what a gorgeous anchor on the wall there. And water is very much one of the symbols, the key symbols of Paris. The symbol of Paris is a boat on choppy waves, on choppy water. And there's actually oars in most of the boats, and the sails as well. So it's an old symbol. And the symbol of Paris is, translated into English, is tossed by the waves but doesn't sink. She, like the town, is tossed by the waves but doesn't sink, and that's very, very apt for Paris, and for some of those of us who have made Paris our home as well. So, you know, I don't have much to say about that apart from there it is. I hope you like it, and you know, it's one of my Paris photographs. I'm pleased with it. I like it. It's simple, but it's got the 2 things. It's got the anchor, and it's got the hint of why the anchor's there, because I think that's just right next to the headquarters of the firemen and stuff, and they have boats. You know, they can rush off along the Seine to incidents as well if need be. And if someone falls in the river, well, they are the ones who rescue them. And they also have a division for divers, and you see them sometimes in the Seine. You see them diving down, you know, to find things. I'll talk about this one now. And this is at, again, it's at my son's local train station, which is on its way to Paris. It's on a line that goes directly into Paris, so, you know, I don't always take, it doesn't have to be within the Paris boundaries for me to include it in When Lady Eiffel Smiles. But it's hardly ever photographs which don't belong to the Paris region. Occasionally I slip one in if I'm tempted. But you know, I've got this funny thing. I leave my photographic inspiration in Paris whenever I go anywhere else. It's really weird. I can go to the most amazing city, and sometimes I don't even take out my camera to take a photograph. It's weird, and people are excited. You know, you're a photographer. You'll love it. Oh, there's so many great things to photograph. And they, after about, you know, a day or two, they think he hasn't taken his camera out yet. What's the big deal? But there's an argument. You know, I thought about this the other day. I was taking this amazing sunset. I might be able to show it to you actually. It was an amazing sunset. Where can I find it? Sunset at my son's station, which is just down the railway from my station. It was a stunning sunset, and I started taking photographs of it. And I realised I was looking at the camera screen more than this stunning sunset, and I thought, you know, get a grip, man. You know, hello, real life first, then your little screen, you know, then your little photographs. So I do try to remember that from time to time, and when I'm away from Paris, I put that into practice. I take photographs, but I do try to appreciate the amazing old building in front of me, or whatever it is, rather than have my nose, stuck yet again in my telephone. I don't think it's there. It's not there. I'm an idiot. I'm not an idiot. I did an idiotic thing. I'm not an idiot. Things I do are idiotic. Let's get it right. I'm going to zoom through the Today's the Day group because I think that's where I put it. And you'll see what I mean. Funnily enough, the phone came up with more impressive images than me looking at the sky. But the sky itself was the impressive thing, not my phone screen. See if I can actually get to it. Oh my God, amazing. Oh, there it is immediately. So check that out. It's not processed. It's how it came out in the camera. It's absolutely amazing, isn't it? Okay, I mean, I know. It's just a beautiful sunset. I'm sure there's plenty of others. Nicely reflected in the sign there, which is cool. That's my sun. And I love the way that it's reflected along the rails there. That is cool. That is cool. And it did come out a tiny bit more impressive in the photograph than in real life. But check this out. Check this out. This was literally several minutes later. Minutes. Yeah, amazing. I didn't do anything. I didn't change the camera. The only thing I did, I admit, I did something. I tapped on the screen to change the exposure. Yeah, you tap on different parts of the screen, you'll see the exposure will change. Because if it was too bright, it's not as impressive. So I made it a bit darker. And that's when this incredible pink and blue with bits of purple came out. When I toned it down, I didn't expose for the platform, I exposed for the sky. And, that's what happened. Same thing here. Nice and... So those are pretty amazing. I was pretty amazed by that. And no processing whatsoever. Literally, I took the photographs, posted them in this group. Finishing off with this one, which is, as I said, at the station. And it was interesting because I went for a walk with my son and we saw this cat climbing up on, there's a part where it's raised above it's going over a bridge. The cat went up onto the thing and wandered around the railway. And my son loves railways, so we spent most of our walk around the railway. And then as we came back to go home by the station to see a couple of trains going by, we saw the same cat. And it was doing its catty things. And at one point it jumped onto this wall, this sort of fence wall thing. And there was a bird on a wire. And I did what was necessary to get this shot, which I think is kind of cool. Two little animals, both looking like they're kind of fenced in actually. I won't read what I wrote, but it was actually pretty funky. Maybe I'll just blow it up so you can always stop it and read it at some later point if you want, just for the record. So that's what I wrote. So at the risk of frustrating you, you can always go and check out that on my site. And it was, I was pleased with it. I was pleased with the text that I came up with. And this is the final one I'm going to show you. And you might find this interesting, what I'm going to say. And that is that I'm not going to say anything about this photograph. This is the photograph. This is the text. And there's a time, I've been thinking about this quite a bit. Should we explain our photograph? Should we explain our words? Should we explain poems? And it can be fun. It can be nice to know what the artist or whatever was thinking when they painted that thing. What does that thing there mean? To know the deeper story, to know how it relates to the artist's life. There's a time for that. And I think there's a time also for just literally presenting what you've done and letting it go. So I'm just showing you this photograph and the text that went with it. And I'll finish on that. So, what does this say? So Rusty is the theme for next week. I like this photo with the cat and the bird, and the text accompanied it perfectly. Yeah, thanks. And your sky photo is in Today's Today. Yeah, thanks. So there you go. That's it. And that's an hour. 59 seconds and 59 minutes and 35 seconds and counting. So I am getting better at some things, if not helping people to spell Eiffel correctly. There are other things I'm doing okay. on this show, which is meant to be about an hour. So thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it, as you know, and I'm looking forward to putting the shots that I chose as my favourites up and seeing your rusty ones. Now, rusty ones, don't just take pictures of rust, people. Creative photography group, remember? Do something with it. Don't forget your composition. Rust isn't enough, is basically what I'm saying. Try to include the rusty item. Take it from an interesting angle. Include it next to something that isn't rusty. I won't go into any more details, but do something with it. Do something with it that shows that you, the photographer, have carefully decided to do whatever it is that you decide to do. Yeah, not just a straight on, there's a rusty thing, click, send it to the group. We're looking for your creativity to shine through. All right, folks, that's it. And I will say bye-bye. Thanks for being part of my creative universe and for allowing me to be part of yours. And happy snapping, and see you again soon. I haven't had any words from my sponsors. I did want to show you one thing. And I think I closed it down. I'm gonna do I wonder if I can open it up. No, I'll just tell you. I'm almost finished with the introductory page to my next masterclass, which is starting in January, and it's going to be on creativity and creating any particular topic that you like. So to be honest, it could be photography, but I've got a masterclass for that. It could be writing, but I've got a masterclass for that coming in next autumn. So it's actually you bring your creative project. It follows exactly the same format as my photography masterclass. For example, 9 weeks. You finish a project after 9 weeks. You finish it. But you bring the creative topic. You bring the project. We help you finish it together in 9 weeks. And you define what it is. You define it. You can't fail. You can't fail. If you look at the description of the masterclass, you'll see how you can't fail. But everything is designed to make it an amazing experience to help you finish an amazing project in 9 weeks, or a little bit more if necessary. And that's it. So that's almost ready, and I'll be promoting that shortly. It's 2 months to go before it starts. So bye everybody. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.